The race to 5G is on, and the battle for talent is getting fierce. Welcome to 5G Talent Talk with Carrie Charles, a podcast dedicated to helping you face the future workforce head on. Navigate this challenging talent landscape with innovative strategies to attract, retain, and engage people in this new world of work. Only here on 5G Talent Talk with Carrie Charles, CEO of Broadstaff Talent Solutions.
Hi, and thanks so much for joining me today on 5G Talent Talk. My name is Carrie Charles, and I am excited to have with me today a special guest, the CEO of Segra, Tim Biltz. Tim, thanks so much for joining me today.
Well, Carrie, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yes, so am I. So Tim, you have been in the industry a long time. So tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got where you are today.
Well, as you can tell, I'm no longer the youngster in the room, but I've had the good fortune of being in the wireless or the comms infrastructure industry my entire career. I started in the early to mid 80s building cellular systems for a company called the Providence Journal, which we sold to GTE, which I guess became Singular, and then AT&T. So in 89, I joined another relatively startup called Vanguard Cellular. And through the decade of the 90s, operating under the Cellular One brand, we built the second or third largest independent cellular business, primarily on the East Coast, about 35 markets, which sold to AT&T as well. And then that was at the late 90s was the beginning infancy of the tower industry. And so joined a sponsor and a great entrepreneur, Steve Clark, in the formation of SpectraSite. And so from 99 to 2005, we built SpectraSite to just short of 8,000 towers, 10,000 rooftops, maybe 800 in-building systems before we merged with American Tower and created that global giant that it still remains. So after that, I took a few years off, did some board work with some Sprint affiliates and stayed in the wireless industry, did some private investing, invested in a technology company called Yap. You know her today as Alexa. Amazon bought that technology and that company in 2011, and it was a voice recognition, next generation. Mm-hmm. And then in 2012, I got called out of retirement to join a company called Lumos, which was based in Virginia. It was a CLEC. When I say CLEC, I think about buying from the local telephone company, marking it up, which was all in vogue in 2010, 11, 12. But we rapidly turned it into a fiber company, transformed the revenues to a facilities-based company versus a off-net business. And in 2017, we sold to EQT, a major investor in our space, and created Segra by acquiring two other companies, Spirit Communications and North State. And so here we are. That's 30 years and 2 minutes or less. Yeah.
That's great. You did a great job. Wow. Talk about experience. That's incredible. Tell me more about Segra, your differentiators, your footprint, your business unit. There's so much here that I think makes Segra very, very special in the industry.
Yeah, so Segra at its core is a fiber company. We're located in the eastern part of the United States. So think Pittsburgh to Atlanta. So the Carolinas and the Virginias, a little bit into Maryland and into Pennsylvania. And we are a competitive fiber co. We run over 25,000 miles of fiber throughout that footprint. As I said, we consolidated 3 companies to create Segra, 3 very well-performing but subscale companies. Company is now north of 550 million in revenue. So we're large enough to be relevant in the industry, but yet still have that small company entrepreneurial feel that defines us as a challenger brand. So our product suites are what you would expect: dark fiber through lit services, primarily servicing large enterprises and wireless carriers. Mm-hmm. We do have a small residential business. It's not so small anymore, maybe 100,000 homes passed, 40,000 broadband customers off fiber, but just getting started.
So I've heard you say that fiber is the heart of 5G.
Yes,
So
it is.
yes, it is. Talk a little bit more about that and, Segra's role in the 5G ecosystem.
Well, as you know, I'm very excited. Being a wireless person that started with first generation and watching the evolutions for each step and progressively getting, more capabilities in the wireless network. Even first going to digital and then going to 3 and 4G, where we gave some real robust improvements to the customers. 5G it's a world of its own. It is as exciting of a time as the original building of cellular. To me, I think it's that type of step function. Mm-hmm. So the speeds that it will provide, the capacity that 5G will provide, the ability to create new applications and allow the innovators of our next generation to exploit and to provide better services. While all that's exciting, and it is wireless, at the end of the day, fiber is the backbone. You need it for security, you need it for capacity, you need it for latency. So it is the classic infrastructure play of 5G. So yeah. We're very excited to partner with our carrier partners for them to deliver this amazing service. And as I said, I'm a wireless guy at the heart. So I'm very excited about 5G.
Yes, I think we all are, for sure. So I know that Segra is in a massive growth mode right now. And I want to talk to you a little bit about culture, because there were some integrations that you went through. And I know that you had to create a brand new culture. So how did you do that?
Well, you're absolutely right. When Lumos was acquired, our very first target, or the company that we wanted to partner with or acquire, was Spirit Communications. And it was built as a merger of equals. The companies were a similar size. Lumos primarily in the Virginias and North, and Spirit in South Carolina and North Carolina. As a merger of equals, we had to start from scratch. So the very first thing, and everything about culture starts with your core values. And what defines you as a company and how you relate with your people. So the first thing we did is we hired a very talented but small, agile company to help us with this branding process. Group that had worked with Nike at the very beginning of Nike. Wow. So we're a challenger brand. And the first thing we did is we brought about 50 people together across the company, from frontline employees to senior executives. And we started with core values, and we established our core values. Many of them were similar between the two companies, but we created our own. We call them the Articles of Excellence. Mm. And once we had our core values established, we went to a brand promise, because a brand only reflects the culture of a company. And then we worked through our brand promise, which is the freedom to grow. We allow our customers the ability to grow their businesses with freedom from the incumbent way of thinking, allow them to prepare their business for the future. And then finally, we named the company that was a reflection of all of that, which is Segra. And Segra was named actually by one of our employees. That was one of the recommendations. It made it through the whole process. And it's an ancient word. It means to win, to overcome, to prevail. And I think that is reflective of this Team Segra.
Talk about employees having a voice. One of your employees actually named the company.
Yeah, it did.
You can't get much better than that.
Yeah, it was terrific. And went through all the whole legal process, but Segra kept coming up to the top, and people rallied around it.
It's an incredible name. I really like it. What when you say challenger brand, what do you mean by that?
So a challenger brand, in our definition, challenges the status quo. And in what we do primarily is, all businesses have some form of communication and data networks. The question is, are those networks of such that it will allow them to grow and really enable their business? And most companies are going through a digital transformation, which is great for our industry. And so we go to them and challenge their way of doing business today, and primarily challenge our competitors' way of doing business. And so we try to shake the trees. And, probably grown to into double-digit market share in our footprint to date, and we have plans to do more of that. So we have to come as you don't go in thinking that they will buy from you because they need to or should. We earn their business, so it's a challenge. We challenge the incumbents aggressively.
I love that. We earn their business, but challenge aggressively.
Yeah.
I like that. I might steal that from you.
It's fine.
That's a good one.
I probably stole it from somebody else.
Right. I know, right? Nothing's new on the planet. So I also heard you say that culture is everything. And I know that you believe that in your heart. And we know it's important, but there's still companies out there that really don't have a strong culture, don't know how to create one. Why do you think culture is so important? And how do you, let's say for companies that may be struggling with this, how do you recreate it and strengthen it?
Well, what I would say is early on, and if you heard about my journey, every one of those companies was really a startup or early phase where we had a chance to develop our culture. And in most cases, if you can, go back far enough, where cell phones were an annoyance to most and very expensive, to come to a non-wireline telephone company, cellular business, you had to recruit hard, you had to sell a vision, you had to find people that was attracted to, because it wasn't a sure bet. Most people were working within the big telecoms. And as a challenger brand, we offered both excitement for a great growth opportunity, lots of demand, but also a place where you could really contribute and, most importantly, be heard and listened to. And those basic respects for individuals, while they're very basic, the golden rule drives most of our culture. They get harder the larger you get. So we're very focused as we scale the business not to lose that. And that's been true for the early days of cellular, the early days of the tower industry, little startup of Yap, to even now Lumos and Segra. Energizing people and having them feel proud of the work that they do, but most importantly, by being respected and listened to. Doesn't always mean we say yes, but having a voice is really important. And so if people go on our website later, they'll see our articles of excellence, core values, and the descriptors. But then we also institutionalized ways as we get bigger, to make sure we're always in touch with our employees and the engagement. And so we can talk about that a little bit later. It's something called Pecan. It's an employee engagement tool that we use, a couple of them.
Oh, I like that. Let's talk about it now. I'm curious because employee engagement is, it's a challenge for everyone.
Yeah. So, early on, we just touch base by going out into the markets and talking to people, and to have, town halls and, visit the markets. But that was, once every quarter. And then as you got bigger, maybe twice a year. And then as you got really big, maybe once a year. And as our footprint grew, we decided to ask employees every Monday morning 5 questions. And they're a rotating question. We partnered with a third party. And it allows employees to communicate with us how they're thinking, what they're feeling. And it takes a minute to fill out if you have nothing to say, and it could take an hour if that's what you want. But every Monday morning, it has been for a number of years, a way to gauge how people are feeling, what they're thinking. And then it allows us to see where we have hot spots or issues that come through the company. And it's a valuable management. So I look at it as much as I do the financial statements.
Wow, that's brilliant. So how many employees do you have again?
We're probably, any given day, 1,200-ish or something like that. So
you have every person complete this every Monday?
Well, it's their option. We
Right.
have very high participation rates. It's 90%. It comes to their mobile.
That's amazing.
It's 5 questions, and they have the ability to give comments. And then since we know, well, everything's 100% confidential. We don't know who's saying what. We do know where they roll up into the company and what department and what division. So each manager gets a statement of their employee engagement, some of the feedback that's coming from their employees, and we use it as a tool to make life better for them. And because
Wow.
at the end of the day, that's our job is to, and I think part of our culture is, the management team works for the employees. There's no question about that. Without our employees, nothing else matters.
I have to say amen here. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. The other thing that you said, Tim, is you said, I look at them.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I looked at them just before I got on the call. Every day I look at them. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just not me. It's the entire management team. It's part of the culture. And it's the one thing, because we probably don't push financials as low into the organization as maybe I was accustomed to in years gone by when you had markets and regions and that. We're still of a size that we do consolidated financials, but we do regional employee engagement. So that's one thing every manager of people can look at every Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they can look at it all the time. And the other thing that we did that I think is equally as powerful is we created what we call the Excellence in Action. It's basically an internal social network where employees get to recognize other employees for their actions, their contributions, and they tie them back, those recognitions, to our core values, which is why we call it Excellence in Action. And then we fund, as a company, each employee gets so many points that they can redistribute in recognizing others. And if I have a bad day, I just go on Excellence in Action and read the amazing contributions our employees are making and being recognized by their peers. So those are the the systematic things that drive culture, because culture can't be about a person. It has to be about a company.
Yeah. Such amazing. I could talk to you about that for hours and get some incredible ideas for myself. Thank you for sharing that, Tim. You also have a knack for finding great talent, and I know that you've hired some incredible people over your career. I'm just curious if you would share maybe a couple of secrets on how to find great talent.
Well, it's not charm and good looks for sure. But
come on.
But what I would say is, I always say I am amazed that everyone shows up to work because it's their choice. And if I think we start with that, and then what we try to create is it's a relationship, So when we were recruiting, it's a little bit like courting, right? We were looking for somebody that has similar values, aspirations, and not looking just for a job, although jobs are very important, pay is very important, income, because people have lives outside of work. We understand that. But you're trying to find that right mix, which is what matters. And I think it's easier to recruit into a great demand curve, you're doing something meaningful. Very easy to recruit into this industry today because we are creating a platform, an infrastructure system, along with our carrier partners, that's going to change the world. And so, at the same time, there's a lot of routine work that has to get done, whether that's accounting or HR or billing. But it's all part of something that's special. And so we very much use our industry to recruit because it's a great industry. And then we also acknowledge that people, just like I did, I came in, got some experience, then took that experience and went and leveraged it other places. And in my career, we don't want people to leave, but if it's good for them, we're happy to have a lot of alumni out there, and we always welcome people back if the grass wasn't greener. So I think it's that appreciation that we try to meet people at where they are in their point in life, and that's allowed us to attract some really great people. And we have a great team. So don't recruit any.
Stay away.
Unless it's good for them.
Right. Well, what you said, Tim, which I love, is you said alumni, and it's such a positive spin because it's it's something that, when you're an alumni, you're proud of where you came from, and you really got something special from that experience. And so I love that distinction.
Yeah, I always, one of my goals is that when people look back on their career, they'll say, boy, I remember that time at Vanguard or SpectraSite or
Nice.
hopefully now Segra. Said that was the best years of my career. And I do have a lot of alumni out there. The tower industry is scattered with SpectraSite employees, and they've all built
Right.
great companies, and same for cellular. Vanguard. There's a lot of people that worked at Vanguard in those early days that are senior roles in the industry today.
That brings me to another question, is that you said you wanted to build a legacy, and this seems like it's part of that, right?
Yes, it is. When I think about legacy, to me, it goes back to the good book, which is you're building something for the next generation. You build something that you leave something better than you found it, and you build a foundation. And I think I approach companies the same way. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Companies are not about people. They're about, what that company does. And so legacy to me is having worked with the team to create something special that will have meaningful impact for the next generation of employees or our broader society as a whole. Wireless has certainly provided a great place to spend a career.
That's a big purpose. Big purpose. Amazing. So let's talk 2021. What are your hiring plans for this year?
So I would say they're still robust, maybe not as robust as we originally thought because of COVID. I mean, COVID is taking an impact greater than, when we started in early 20, we had rip-roaring plans and we executed on them. We grew through COVID. We continue to invest and hire, and we're going to continue to invest and hire into 21. So if you go to the website, there's lots of openings and the positions you would most likely expect: network operations and customer care, facilities, sales positions. But we also are recognizing, that the country is not out of this woods yet. But we're investing heavily into the network, with partnering with our wireless carriers as they deploy their 5G network. So we're continuing to build a foundation, but we're growing and plenty of openings. So come to the website.
Sounds like an amazing place to call home. That's for sure. Talk about the next 5 years for Segra. What's on the horizon? What do you see?
Well, my retirement, my handing off the keys. But look, at the highest level, we want to double our market share. It's pretty significant now. So we want to continue that challenger brand of bringing products and solutions to our enterprise and carrier customers that would more than double our business on an organic basis. And then, we have been acquisitive. We think scale is density and footprint, so we'll continue to do tuck-in acquisitions. But the company, if you think just doubling, brings us to, well over $1 billion in revenue before any major acquisitions. And so we'll think about expanding the network footprint through bolt-on acquisitions across near our network. We are unique in the sense that we do not have networks scattered around the country, and I'm not opining on anyone else's strategy, but we like a contiguous network and the ability to create a large community of interest to take advantage of fragmentation of our competitors. We're certainly not a global leader, but we are a super regional leader. And there's lots of demand for our products as our markets evolve to a fully digitized economy. So that's the ambition, and I'll be here for part of it. But I also don't want to put a ceiling on what this company can be. That'll be the next generation of leaders to to set those aspirations.
Well, Tim, you came out of retirement once, you might do it again.
I will. I'm not very good at golf, so I'll probably be hanging around the industry for a while.
Right, that's true. So where can we reach Segra and find out about all the great jobs and about the company?
Sure. So if you go to segra.com, segra.com, and you scroll to the bottom, at the top, website will show you all about the company and its products and its services. But if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a button for careers. You hit that, you'll see our core values pop straight up, what we stand for, and a little more definition about what they mean. And then there's a button that says, look at current openings. So
easy enough.
Easy enough.
Tim, this has been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts today, talking more about Segra. I just really enjoyed getting a view into your culture and who you are as the CEO. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, the same to you, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another informative episode of 5G Talent Talk, brought to you by RCR Wireless News, Telecom Careers, and Broadstaff Talent Solutions. As we advance into the future, we promise to bring you the resources you need to navigate this ever-changing landscape of 5G to help you attract, retain, and engage people in this new world of work. To access the show notes or leave a review, visit broadstaffglobal.com. Until next time.